The way you treat yourself dictates the way the world treats you. If you lack self-respect, if you bend over backward for people who give you the bare minimum, if you tolerate disrespect in any form, you are silently teaching others that it is acceptable to undervalue you. The truth is, people mirror the energy you bring. They observe how you carry yourself, how you react to certain situations, and how you allow them to behave around you. If you do not respect yourself enough to set firm boundaries, you will always find yourself being mistreated, overlooked, and underappreciated. Respect is not something you ask for. It is something you embody. It is reflected in your posture, in your words, in the way you walk into a room, and most importantly, in the way you enforce your standards. There is a difference between someone who simply hopes to be respected and someone who commands it effortlessly. That difference lies in the standards they set for themselves and how unwavering they are in upholding those standards. People subconsciously test you. They push boundaries to see what they can get away with. They will show up late to see if you tolerate it. They will make jokes at your expense to see if you laugh it off. They will ask you for favors repeatedly to see if you ever say no. Every time you let something slide that makes you uncomfortable, you are reinforcing the idea that your feelings, your time, and your energy are not a priority. The more you allow, the more they will take. The moment you start valuing yourself enough to say, this is not acceptable, you shift the dynamic entirely. It all starts with how you perceive yourself. If you do not believe you are worthy of respect, it will show in your action. You will hesitate to speak up when someone crosses the line. You will make excuses for people who consistently let you down. You will settle for relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, where you are not valued. And the more you allow it, the more difficult it becomes to change it, because you condition yourself to believe that this is just the way things are. This is why self-respect is not a passive trait. It is a daily practice. It is a commitment to yourself that you will no longer entertain what drains you, disrespects you, or diminishes you. It requires you to become highly aware of who you allow into your space and what behaviors you tolerate. It demands that you set boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. Because self-respect isn't just about how you let others treat you, it's also about how you treat yourself. Do you keep the promises you make to yourself? Do you follow through on your goals? Do you show up for yourself even when no one is watching? Because if you constantly neglect your own needs, how can you expect others to prioritize them? Think about the most respected individuals you know. They are not the ones who constantly explain themselves, seek approval, or beg for attention. They are the ones who carry themselves with certainty. They know their worth and they refuse to compromise on it. They do not entertain people who play games. They do not chase validation. They do not allow disrespect to slide. They simply walk away from situations that do not serve them. And by doing so, they earn the respect of others effortlessly. When you respect yourself, you create an invisible force field around you. People sense it. They become more mindful of how they approach you. They think twice before speaking to you in a condescending manner. They make an effort to be on time, to be consistent, to show appreciation, because they know you are not someone who tolerates anything less. But if you fail to establish this sense of self-respect, the opposite happens. People treat you as an option. They do not prioritize you because they can sense that you do not prioritize yourself. They take advantage of your kindness. They become careless with your time, and the cycle continues until you make the conscious decision to break it. It is important to understand that setting this boundary does not mean becoming cold or distant. It does not mean shutting people out or being harsh. It simply means recognizing your value and refusing to engage in anything that does not align with it. It means choosing yourself unapologetically. It means letting go of people who only respect you when it is convenient for them. It is not always easy. Sometimes the people you need to set boundaries with the most are the ones you care about deeply. You will feel the temptation to lower your standards just to keep them around. You will convince yourself that it is better to have their presence in your life, even if it comes at the cost of your peace. But that is not love. That is self-betrayal. And self-betrayal always leads to resentment towards others and, most dangerously, towards yourself. Because every time you tolerate something that goes against your inner truth, a small part of you starts to doubt yourself. You start questioning your worth. You wonder if you are asking for too much. You wonder if you should just accept things the way they are. And the moment you start thinking like this, you give away your power. You give away the very thing that could transform your life, your self-respect. So the choice is yours. Either you set the standard for how you deserve to be treated, or you let the world decide for you. When it comes to commanding respect, one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is silence. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it is a profound statement of power, control, and self-assurance. In a world where people are constantly trying to get a reaction, seeking validation, and testing boundaries, silence can be your strongest boundary. The truth is, when you choose silence over unnecessary explanations or defensive behavior, you shift the energy in any interaction, and people begin to recognize you in an entirely new way. At the core of silence is the ability to remain unshaken. Life often presents us with situations where people will try to provoke us, challenge our beliefs, or manipulate our emotions. Whether it's in personal relationships, at work, or in social settings, there will always be those who will try to push your buttons, test your limits, and see if they can get a rise out of you. The natural tendency is to react, to defend ourselves, to prove our point. However, what most people fail to realize is that reacting in these situations often gives away your power. It places the control in the hands of the person trying to provoke you, and that is exactly what they want. But when you refuse to react, when you meet these challenges with silence, you maintain control. People who expect to get a response, a confrontation, or an argument are often thrown off when they don't get one. They can't understand why you aren't reacting. They start to question what kind of person you are. And the truth is, silence makes you seem unflappable, unbothered, and unpredictable. It commands respect because it demonstrates that you are not dependent on the approval or reactions of others. You are strong enough to stand in your own truth without needing external validation. Silence also communicates a powerful message about your boundaries. When you choose not to engage in petty arguments, gossip, or drama, you send a clear signal that you are not interested in anything that lowers your vibration or wastes your time. People begin to understand that they cannot manipulate or control you with their words or behavior. Your silence tells them that you are not someone who will engage in unnecessary conflict. You have no time to waste on things that don't serve your growth or peace of mind. This principle extends far beyond just silencing your words. It is about silencing your reactions and emotions as well. Emotions are powerful. They can cloud our judgment and make us act impulsively, often in ways that do not reflect our true selves. We all have triggers, things people say or do that set us off. But when we allow ourselves to react emotionally, we lose the opportunity to respond thoughtfully. We give others the chance to influence us, to manipulate us into behaving in ways that are not aligned with who we are or what we stand for. The key to using silence effectively is learning how to control your emotions. It is about not allowing others to dictate how you feel or how you respond. Emotional control is a sign of maturity, strength, and wisdom. It means that you have the ability to remain calm in the face of chaos, to stand firm in your values, and to make decisions from a place of logic rather than from an emotional impulse. People notice this. They respect it. They realize that you cannot be easily swayed or manipulated, and that is a quality that commands admiration. One of the most powerful aspects of silence is that it gives you time to think. In moments of tension, when everything within you wants to speak up or react, silence gives you the opportunity to pause, assess the situation, and decide how you want to respond. It allows you to take a step back and not let your emotions drive your actions. You become the one in control, not the situation or the person trying to provoke you. Silence also creates space for others to think. When you don't immediately react to something, you give the other person the time and space to reflect on what they said or did. This is particularly powerful when dealing with someone who is trying to challenge or belittle you. They may be expecting you to defend yourself or justify your actions, but when you stay silent, they begin to realize that their attempts to provoke you were unnecessary. They start to see that their words or behavior have no power over you, and in that moment, their respect for you grows. In many situations, silence is far more effective than words. Words can be misinterpreted, misused, or manipulated, but silence is a universal language. It doesn't need translation. It speaks directly to the subconscious, conveying strength, confidence, and a refusal to engage in anything that doesn't align with your standards. Moreover, silence teaches others how to treat you. When you set a boundary through silence, you show people that they cannot cross certain lines with you. You're not engaging in arguments, trying to prove points, or seeking validation. Instead, you are setting a precedent for how you expect to be treated. This not only forces people to reconsider their behavior, but it also allows them to see that you are not easily influenced or swayed. Your silence reinforces your inner strength, and that strength is something that others naturally respect. In relationships, silence can be one of the most effective ways to regain control when things are starting to feel unbalanced. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a colleague, silence can help you regain your sense of self. It allows you to disconnect from the noise, both external and internal, and focus on your own thoughts, feelings, and needs. By creating space between you and someone else, you also create the opportunity for reflection, for healing, and for reestablishing your sense of self-worth. In every interaction, silence is a subtle yet powerful tool. It is an expression of your self-control, your self-respect, and your ability to remain grounded regardless of external circumstances. It demands recognition and commands respect because it shows that you are not willing to lower your standards or engage in anything that does not serve your highest good. When you choose to maintain your boundaries, you are choosing to live your life with intention and self-awareness. It is easy to get swept away in the hustle and bustle of life, to prioritize the needs of others over your own, and to ignore the subtle signs that you are overextending yourself. But the moment you begin to make your boundaries non-negotiable, you start to show the world that your peace, your time, and your energy are sacred. This act of self-preservation is often misunderstood by many as selfishness or a lack of compassion, but in reality, it is one of the most loving and empowering decisions you can make. By setting boundaries, you demonstrate to others that you know your worth and that you will not tolerate being treated any less than you deserve. There is an undeniable strength in this practice. It is not about being rigid or closed off from others, but rather about recognizing the importance of protecting your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. When you protect your own boundaries, you are simultaneously teaching others how to treat you, and this is an incredibly powerful dynamic. Too often, we find ourselves in situations where we feel drained, undervalued, or taken advantage of because we did not set clear boundaries from the beginning. We allow people to overstep, to make demands, to expect our time and energy without regard for our own needs. This is especially common in relationships, whether they are personal or professional. The pressure to please others, to be accommodating, or to avoid conflict can make it difficult to stand firm in our boundaries. But what we fail to realize is that every time we let someone cross a boundary without consequences, we are eroding our own self-respect and inviting more of the same behavior. When you stand firm in your boundaries, you teach others that your time, energy, and peace are not to be taken lightly. This doesn't mean you become harsh or inflexible. It means that you recognize your value and won't allow anyone to diminish it. People begin to take you seriously when they realize that you are not a pushover. You do not bend to their will or cater to their demands without considering your own needs first. They know that engaging with you means respecting your time, your space, and your mental and emotional energy. Boundaries create a sense of balance and respect in any relationship. Without boundaries, relationships can become unbalanced, with one person constantly giving while the other takes. This leads to resentment, burnout, and emotional exhaustion. By setting clear boundaries, you ensure that both parties in a relationship are giving and receiving in a way that feels healthy and equitable. This mutual respect strengthens the bond between you and allows the relationship to grow in a way that is fulfilling for both individuals. In addition to improving your relationships, setting boundaries also helps you maintain your own sense of personal power. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances, and instead you take control of your own life. The more you stand firm in your boundaries, the more confident you become in your ability to navigate the world around you. You begin to realize that you do not have to accept anything that does not serve your highest good, and this realization is liberating. Boundaries also help you prioritize your time. In today's world, time is one of the most precious commodities we have, yet so often we give it away freely to others without considering how it affects us. We say yes to people, projects, and obligations that drain us, leaving us with little time for ourselves. By setting clear boundaries around how you spend your time, you allow yourself to focus on what truly matters. You begin to prioritize your own goals, passions, and self-care, which ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and balanced life. Setting boundaries is a form of self-respect, but it also involves self-awareness. It requires you to understand what you need in order to feel safe, valued, and energized. It involves recognizing your limits and knowing when to say no. This self-awareness is a skill that takes time to develop, but it is essential for maintaining your mental and emotional health. Once you start setting boundaries, you begin to notice a shift in your life. You stop feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, and resentful because you are no longer giving more than you have to give. Instead, you are giving from a place of abundance because you have made sure that your own needs are met first. Another critical aspect of setting boundaries is the courage it takes to enforce them. It can be uncomfortable to say no, especially when you are used to pleasing others or avoiding. However, the more you practice enforcing your boundaries, the easier it becomes. Each time you say no or assert your needs, you strengthen your sense of self-worth and your ability to navigate difficult situations with grace and confidence. In some cases, enforcing boundaries may lead to tension or conflict, especially if others are not used to you standing up for yourself. Some people may try to guilt trip you, make you feel bad for saying no, or try to manipulate you into breaking your boundaries. This is where your inner strength comes into play. You must remain firm in your resolve, knowing that your peace and well-being are worth far more than anyone else's discomfort. It is important to remember that when you set boundaries, you are not being rigid or inflexible. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are guidelines that allow for healthy interaction and mutual respect. They create a framework within which relationships can thrive, ensuring that both parties feel heard, valued, and appreciated. Setting boundaries is about creating space for yourself to grow, to heal, and to live authentically. It is not a rejection of others. Rather, it is a commitment to yourself and your own needs. The more you set and maintain boundaries, the more you will notice that you are attracting people who respect you, who value your time and energy, and who are willing to meet you where you are. Boundaries act as a filter, keeping out those who seek to drain or manipulate you and allowing in those who are aligned with your values and who contribute positively to your life. When you honor your boundaries, you not only protect yourself from harm, but you also open the door to healthier, more fulfilling relationships. When you make your needs a priority, you create an environment where you are valued not just by others, but by yourself. In a world where we are constantly told to put others first, whether in personal relationships or professional settings, it is often easy to lose sight of your own needs. This is especially true when the pressure to please others becomes overwhelming, when you are constantly chasing after approval, or when you feel obligated to give without asking for anything in return. But the moment you decide that your needs matter, you begin to shift the dynamic of your relationships and interactions, setting the stage for a life where you are respected, not out of obligation, but because you have established a standard for how you expect to be treated. The practice of prioritizing your needs is not about selfishness, nor is it about shutting others out. It is about recognizing that in order to be your best self, to show up fully for others, you must first take care of yourself. It is about understanding that your well-being is the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you neglect your own needs, whether they are emotional, physical, or mental, you are operating from a place of scarcity. You give and give, but you never allow yourself to receive or recharge. Eventually, this leads to burnout, resentment, and a sense of depletion. But when you prioritize your needs, you create a well of abundance that you can draw from to support others without feeling drained or overextended. By making your needs a priority, you also communicate to others that you will not settle for less than what you deserve. This boundary is incredibly powerful because it sets the tone for how others treat you. When you take the time to meet your own needs, whether that means taking care of your physical health, setting aside time for self-reflection, or seeking emotional support when needed, you show the world that you value yourself enough to invest in your own well-being. This self-worth radiates outwards, and people begin to see you not as someone who is always available for others, but as someone who knows their own value and will not tolerate being treated any less. Taking care of your needs also means being in tune with what you require to feel balanced and fulfilled. This requires a deep level of self-awareness. It's about recognizing the signs when you are stretching yourself too thin, or when your emotional reserves are running low. It's about being able to listen to your body and your mind and understanding when it's time to step back and recharge. People who make their needs a priority are keenly aware of their limits and are not afraid to honor them. This is an essential part of self-respect because it demonstrates that you have the courage to say no when necessary and to ask for what you need without guilt or hesitation. When you prioritize your needs, you also create the space to be authentic. Often, when we neglect our own needs, we start to wear masks and adopt behaviors that are not true to ourselves. We become people pleasers, trying to mold ourselves into what others want or expect. But when your needs are a priority, you stop pretending to be someone you're not in order to gain approval or avoid conflict. You stand in your truth unapologetically. You speak your mind, express your feelings, and set boundaries that reflect your values. This authenticity attracts people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for the persona you've created to please them. Prioritizing your needs also teaches others how to treat you. When you are clear about what you need and communicate it openly, you set a standard that others must meet if they wish to maintain a relationship with you. This does not mean you expect perfection or that you will never compromise, but it does mean that you have a clear understanding of what is non-negotiable for you. People who respect you will understand and support these boundaries. Those who do not may attempt to push or challenge them, but you will stand firm, knowing that you deserve to be treated in a way that aligns with your needs and values. Moreover, prioritizing your needs allows you to live with greater intention. Rather than reacting to the world around you, you begin to create the life you desire. You take control of your time, your energy, and your focus, making decisions that serve your long-term goals and aspirations. Instead of getting caught up in the demands and distractions of others, you become proactive in creating the life you want to live. Whether it's dedicating time to your personal growth, pursuing your passions, or building meaningful relationships, prioritizing your needs gives you the clarity and energy to pursue what truly matters. The act of making your needs a priority also encourages others to do the same. When you model healthy behavior by putting your own needs first, you set an example for those around you. You show them that it is okay to prioritize their own well-being, and that doing so does not make them selfish or unkind. This ripple effect can have a profound impact, inspiring others to take better care of themselves, to set boundaries, and to value their own needs. It fosters an environment where everyone is encouraged to show up as their best selves. And this creates stronger, more balanced relationships in all areas of life. Prioritizing your needs also strengthens your ability to maintain a healthy sense of independence. While it is important to nurture relationships and contribute to the well-being of others, it is equally important to remember that your happiness and fulfillment do not rely on anyone else's actions or approval. When you take ownership of your own needs, you stop seeking validation from others and begin to rely on your own internal source of strength and satisfaction. You become more self-sufficient, grounded, and confident in your ability to create the life you desire. In a world that often encourages us to put others first, making your needs a priority is a radical act of self-love and self-respect. It is a practice that strengthens your sense of self-worth and empowers you to live your life with purpose and intention. By honoring your own needs, you not only cultivate a deep sense of fulfillment, but you also teach others to do the same. And in doing so, you create a life that is authentic, balanced, and truly your own. There is an undeniable strength that comes from learning how to say no. For many people, especially those who have been conditioned to be accommodating, saying no can feel like a challenge. We are often taught that saying no makes us appear selfish or rude, and as a result, we spend a significant portion of our lives saying yes to things that don't serve us, that drain us, or that overextend our resources. However, saying no is one of the most empowering tools you can develop for yourself. It is a form of self-care and an essential boundary that allows you to preserve your time, energy, and emotional health. Saying no is not about rejecting others. It's about taking control of your own life and prioritizing what matters most to you. When you say no, you are choosing yourself, choosing your well-being, and choosing your peace of mind. It is an act of self-respect that tells the world that you will not allow anything to interfere with your personal boundaries, values, or goals. It's not about being dismissive or inconsiderate. It's about being intentional with where you invest your time and energy. Learning to say no requires self-awareness and an understanding of your limits. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your needs or desires, you are effectively saying no to something else. You are saying no to your peace, your priorities, your personal time, or your emotional health. Recognizing this dynamic is essential because it empowers you to make more intentional choices. It helps you realize that every time you choose to say yes to something that does not serve you, you are making a sacrifice. These sacrifices, when compounded over time, can lead to burnout, resentment, and a deep sense of being overwhelmed. When you say no, you take back your power. You stop being a passive participant in your own life and become an active creator of your experiences. Saying no is a tool of discernment. It helps you filter out distractions, energy drains, and negative influences that do not contribute to your growth. It allows you to focus on the things that matter, the things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose. Saying no helps you preserve your energy for the things that truly deserve your attention. It is also essential to recognize that saying no does not have to be harsh or confrontational. It is possible to say no with kindness, respect, and consideration. Saying no can be done in a way that is clear yet gentle. It's about finding the right balance between being firm in your decision while still being compassionate towards others. Saying no does not require an apology, nor does it require you to justify your decision endlessly. It simply requires you to honor your needs and communicate them with clarity. People may challenge you when you start saying no, especially if they are used to you always saying yes. Some may try to make you feel guilty for asserting your boundaries, and others may even attempt to manipulate you into changing your mind. This is where your inner strength must come into play. It is important to remain firm in your decision and not be swayed by guilt or pressure. You must remind yourself that your time, energy, and well-being are precious, and no one else has the right to take them from you without your consent. The ability to say no also plays a crucial role in building respect in your relationships. When you say no, you are teaching others how to treat you. You are setting a standard for how you wish to be valued. Those who truly respect you will understand and honor your decision. They will not take offense or try to convince you to change your mind. Instead, they will appreciate your clarity and your commitment to your boundaries. On the other hand, those who do not respect your boundaries may push back or try to manipulate you, but it is important to stand firm. This process is key to fostering healthy relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. Moreover, saying no enables you to prioritize your own needs and goals. In a world that constantly demands your attention, it is easy to lose sight of your personal aspirations. You may find yourself saying yes to commitments that take you further away from your goals or that divert your focus from what matters most to you. Saying no helps you stay aligned with your long-term vision. It allows you to say yes to the things that truly matter, whether that's dedicating time to your personal development, pursuing a passion, or investing in your health and well-being. Saying no also fosters personal growth. It encourages you to reflect on your values, desires, and priorities. It challenges you to make decisions based on what is best for you, not what others expect of you or what society tells you you should do. Saying no is an opportunity to practice self-discipline and to make choices that reflect your authentic self. It requires a level of confidence and clarity that only comes from knowing yourself and being unapologetic about what you need in order to thrive. One of the most significant benefits of saying no is the mental and emotional space it creates for you. By saying no to things that drain you or do not align with your values, you create room for activities, people, and experiences that uplift you. This newfound space allows you to focus on what is truly important and to cultivate an environment that nourishes your mind, body, and soul. It can be easy to fall into the trap of overcommitment and busyness, but by saying no, you reclaim control over your time and your life. You choose to fill your life with things that energize and inspire you rather than things that leave you feeling exhausted or unfulfilled. Saying no is also an essential aspect of protecting your mental health. When you overextend yourself, take on too many responsibilities, or allow others to take advantage of your time, it can lead to stress, anxiety, and burnout. By setting boundaries and learning to say no, you protect yourself from mental and emotional overload. You allow yourself the time and space needed to recharge, reflect, and process your emotions. This is vital for maintaining a balanced and healthy life. Ultimately, saying no is about taking control of your life. It is about honoring your needs, values, and boundaries and creating a life that reflects who you truly are. When you make the decision to say no, you stop living on autopilot and start living intentionally. You create the space for growth, self-care, and meaningful connections. Saying no is a powerful tool for reclaiming your life, and when done with respect and clarity, it fosters healthier, more fulfilling relationships and a deeper sense of inner peace. One of the most transformative skills you can develop is the ability to embrace discomfort. This may sound counterintuitive, especially in a world that constantly seeks to avoid discomfort at all costs. We live in a culture that values comfort, ease, and instant gratification. We are surrounded by messages that encourage us to seek pleasure and avoid pain, whether it's through material possessions, entertainment, or social validation. But what if I told you that true growth, personal power, and success are found not in avoiding discomfort, but in learning how to navigate it? When you choose to embrace discomfort, you are choosing to step outside of your comfort zone, and it is within this space of uncertainty and challenge that real transformation occurs. The path to greatness is not paved with ease. It is carved through struggles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. It is in the moments when we are pushed beyond our limits that we discover just how capable we are. When we avoid discomfort, we remain stagnant, confined to the familiar and the safe. But when we lean into it, we unlock new potential, new opportunities, and new ways of thinking. Embracing discomfort is about changing your relationship with fear. Fear is often the greatest barrier to growth. It whispers to you that you are not capable, that the risks are too high, and that the uncertainty is too much to bear. Fear creates stories in our minds about worst-case scenarios, making us believe that the discomfort we face is a sign of failure or something to avoid at all costs. But the truth is that fear is simply a signal that we are stepping into unknown territory. And that is where growth happens. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you realize that fear does not define your potential. Fear is simply a natural response to the unfamiliar, and it does not need to control your actions. When you learn to push through fear, you move closer to your true self, the person you are meant to become. Another powerful aspect of embracing discomfort is the development of resilience. Life will always present challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. There is no way to avoid them, and attempting to do so only leads to frustration and missed opportunities. But when you embrace discomfort, you build the mental and emotional strength needed to persevere through life's toughest moments. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, but about developing the capacity to bounce back from them. It is about learning how to face adversity with courage and grace, knowing that every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every time you push through discomfort, you are building your ability to handle future challenges with greater ease and confidence. This resilience becomes a cornerstone of your personal strength and your ability to navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life. Embracing discomfort also allows you to break free from limiting beliefs and self-imposed boundaries. Many of the obstacles we face are not external, but internal. We limit ourselves with thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable of this, or I can't handle it. These beliefs hold us back from reaching our full potential and prevent us from pursuing the opportunities that are right in front of us. But when you step into discomfort, you challenge these beliefs. You begin to see that you are more than capable of handling the challenges that come your way. Each time you push through fear or discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are stronger, more resourceful, and more capable than you ever imagined. This shift in mindset opens up a world of possibilities, allowing you to take risks, seize opportunities, and step into your personal power. Furthermore, embracing discomfort is a crucial part of mastering self-discipline. It is easy to do what feels good in the moment, whether that's indulging in a temporary pleasure or avoiding hard work, but true success comes from making choices that align with your long-term goals, even when those choices are difficult or uncomfortable. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. It's about making the conscious decision to prioritize what matters most, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about staying committed to your goals despite the challenges, setbacks, and discomfort that may arise along the way. Embracing discomfort strengthens your discipline, helping you stay focused on your vision and push through the inevitable obstacles that come your way. Learning to embrace discomfort also means learning to be present in the moment, even when that moment is challenging. Often we try to escape discomfort by distracting ourselves or numbing our feelings, whether it's through mindless scrolling on our phones, overeating, or indulging in unhealthy coping mechanisms. We try to avoid the discomfort that arises within us. However, true growth comes from sitting with discomfort, facing it head on, and allowing it to pass through us without resistance. By embracing discomfort, you develop a deeper level of emotional intelligence as you learn to observe and process your emotions rather than avoiding them. This practice helps you become more resilient, self-aware, and emotionally balanced. Moreover, embracing discomfort is essential for building meaningful relationships. Relationships are not always easy. They require effort, vulnerability, and the willingness to face difficult conversations and moments of tension. Whether in romantic relationships, friendships, or professional connections, discomfort is an inevitable part of the process. It is in those moments of discomfort, whether it's a difficult conversation, a confrontation, or an emotional vulnerability, that the most meaningful connections are formed. When you embrace discomfort in relationships, you show up authentically and courageously. You are willing to face the challenges, confront the issues, and navigate the awkward or uncomfortable moments that ultimately lead to deeper understanding and connection. Relationships thrive on this openness, honesty, and willingness to grow together, even in difficult times. Additionally, embracing discomfort teaches you to trust the process. Growth is rarely linear. It often involves periods of discomfort, uncertainty, and struggle before progress is made. When you embrace this discomfort, you stop expecting everything to be smooth sailing, and instead you develop patience and trust in the journey. You understand that the challenges you face are not signs of failure, but necessary steps towards success. By embracing discomfort, you let go of the need for immediate gratification and learn to appreciate the journey, knowing that each difficult moment brings you closer to your goals. When you choose to embrace discomfort, you begin to understand that it is not something to fear, but something to welcome. Discomfort is a signal that you are growing, evolving, and expanding beyond your current limitations. It is in the discomfort that you will find your greatest breakthroughs, your greatest strength, and your greatest opportunities. Embracing discomfort is not about seeking pain for the sake of it. It is about stepping into the unknown, challenging yourself, and becoming the person you are truly capable of being.